Hello, dear friends. Today we're going to dive into the mystery of the immovable race of humanity. We're going to study the word of the Lord and understand who the immovable race of humanity are. And in order for us to understand that, we're going to start from John chapter 1, verse 11 to 13, because this is where everything lies. Now, let's go read it together, because we're going to read all these passages. And then in the end, we're going to summarize and get down to the conclusion of understanding who the immovable race of humanity are. John chapter 1, verse 11. He came to his own, and his own people did not receive him. But to all who did receive him, who believed in his name, he gave them the right to become children of God. Talking about the children of God, us, the children of God. And who are the children of God? He goes on further to explain who the children of God are. He gives a very precise description of the children of God in verse 13. Those who were born not of the blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. These are the children of God, my dear friends. And keep in mind, he's not talking about born-again Christians, because he is mentioning specific characteristics of being the children of God. And keep in mind the birth of Isaac and the birth of Ishmael. Let's move on to Romans 8:29 to 30. This is talking about God. For those whom he foreknew. So God foreknew from the beginning. He also predestined. Those whom he foreknew. Who are those whom he foreknew? He foreknew his own children, the sons of God, the children, his own children. He also predestined. So he predestined us from the beginning, and he confirmed us in the image of his only begotten Son, Jesus Christ. And after he confirming us, he called us, he justified us, and then he glorified us. And the rest reads in Romans 8, verse 30. If we actually go further in Ephesians chapter 1, verse 4, we understand, even as he chose us, the children of God, who were born not of the flesh, not of the will of man, not of the blood, but of God, were the ones whom God chose before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and blameless before him in love. Keep in mind, we were chosen before. This is exactly why Jesus, when he was preaching in John chapter 6, in two separate occasions, mentions something very important. He says in John 6:37, all that the Father gives me will come to me, and whoever comes to me I will never cast out. Keep that in mind. He mentions that again in John chapter 6, verse 44 and 45. No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will raise him up on the last day. Okay? So he further cross-references from the Old Testament, from Isaiah 54, verse 13, and says, it is written in the prophets, and they will all be taught by God. Everyone who has learned and heard from the Father comes to me. Learned and heard. It means we have been with the Father before. He foreknew us. Remember, he predestined us, confirmed us in the image of his only Son. Then he called us, justified us, and glorified us. In Revelation chapter 3, verse 5 says, the one who conquers will be clothed thus in white garments, and I will never blot his name out of the book of life. I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels. So what's the catch for us not to have our names blotted out of the book of life? Now that we have a free will, we have to make sure we don't sell our souls to the devil. I actually made a video about this, that the flesh is to no avail, but the soul is the important aspect of our existence. Now, the last one, my dear friends, is Revelation 13, verse 8, and says, and all who dwell on earth will worship it. Everyone will worship the beast, except those whose names have been written before the foundation of the world in the book of life of the Lamb who was slain. So everyone whose name has been written in the book of life before the foundation of the earth will not worship the beast. But everyone else living in this earth will worship the image of the beast. Keep that in mind. Let's go to